Hello, so today I'll be presenting a paper called FaceDisplay towards asymmetric multi-user interaction for nomadic virtual reality. A lot of words, and I'm going to explain what they are. FaceDisplay is a modified VR HMD consisting of 3 touch-sensitive displays and a depth camera. HMD stands for head-mounted device. So as you can see, this user has an Oculus Rift attached to him, and then he has 3 screens on which the bystanders can view the virtual world. So they talked about nomadic VR interaction scenario where an HMD user picks a location in which he wants to immerse himself and stays rather stationary. Rather stationary means that they are either sitting or standing in that location for the entire experience. They implemented 3 applications: Fruit Slicer, Space, and Conductor, and they used different sets of aspects of the asymmetric co-located interaction in all 3 of them. So their design goal was to reduce the exclusion of the bystander and also reducing the isolation of the HMD user. They enabled hand tracking for bystander, allowing HMD user to see the visualization of hands. So the games were Fruit Slicer, which is a VR adaptation of Fruit Ninja, where you would have to slice fruits. So the non-HMD user can throw fruits, vegetables, and bombs by touching any screen. And the HMD user has to slice, but they would have to do it on the center screen. So basically the HMD user is in first-person perspective, whereas the bystanders are viewing him as standing afar in third-person perspective. The second one is Space, where an astronaut, which is the HMD user, is stuck in outer space and being attacked by comets. And what's different from Fruit Slicer is that they cannot see the non-HMD user in this scenario, and there is an element of surprise about where the comets are coming and who's hitting them. Another one is Conductor, which is similar to Guitar Hero, where the music would play and you have to pick up a lane and click on the block. So the non-HMD user gestures which lane to tap and when, and based on that, the HMD user either gets it right and the music is getting louder, or doesn't get it right and the music's getting softer. So for the study design, they had a lot of things that they tried to measure. They had enjoyment, social interaction, dominance, balance, arousal, presence, and they talked about the different kinds of social and interaction dynamics that they faced. So what they found out was there was a power imbalance between the 2 users. In this case, with Space, there was an element of that the non-HMD user could abuse the HMD user by throwing a lot of comments, and it could be a little traumatizing. But the other thing is in the case of Conductor, where the non-HMD user had to gesture it before they could even do it, there was a sense of greater responsibility that this is something that's on me if they don't get it right. The other thing is the impact of physical interaction. They looked at how, if someone's standing in this case, if people are, you are also touching one of the screens, there's another person touching one of the screens trying to play, and sometimes when they're trying to have a physical interaction with you, they're probably touching you, and you don't realize it when you are wearing a VR headset or something. So there was some sort of discomfort to being touched versus touching the screen. And in the other situations where there were gestures, which was much more comfortable, where you could just see the visualization of the hands instead of somebody actually touching you. They said it's more enjoyable when placed with a closely familiar partner. If you know the person, you would rather be much more comfortable if they were, around you and close to you. The next thing they talked about was enjoyment, presence, and emotion. Non-HMD user felt higher level of agency and understanding of the virtual environment. In most cases, we are as a single person experience. So in this case, the non-HMD users, the bystanders, felt much more involved and interacted with the environment. And that's one of the research questions that they asked, and they tried to focus on by including the non-HMD users. Yeah, thank you.